Hi friends, good morning. Today's topic is indications of the pure tone audiometry. So the patients who are suffering from hearing loss, the patients who are having vertigo, tinnitus and ear discharge, and if that ear discharge is due to otitis media, then in all these conditions, pure tone audiometry should be done. And what we will know after taking the audiogram, so with the help of audiogram, we can know the type of hearing loss, whether it is conductive, sensorineural or mixed. So as you know, the causes of conductive, they lies in the external ear, and whereas the causes of external ear as well as the middle ear, whereas the sensorineural hearing loss will indicate some sensory cause, either the disease is in the cochlear labyrinth or in the nerve. And some of the patients, they can have even mixed hearing loss also. So mixed means patient will have the element of conductive as well as the sensorineural hearing loss both. Then with the help of this proton audiogram, we can see the severity of the hearing loss. So either the patient can have mild, moderate, severe and profound hearing loss. So if the hearing loss is up to 20 dB, that we consider normal. So if the audiogram is showing 20 up to 20 dB hearing loss, that we consider normal. If it is 20 to 40, that is called mild. If it is then 40 to 60, that is moderate, and 60 to 80 is severe, and more than 80 is profound hearing loss. So as I was telling you, that site of lesion that we can know. So whether the disease lies in the external ear or tympanic membrane middle ear, the patient will have conductive hearing loss, while as the disease of inner ear and the eighth nerve disease, they will lead to sensory hearing loss. Then if you take the audiogram, we can know the progress of the hearing loss. So in some of the conditions, patient can have fluctuating hearing loss. In other conditions, patient can have even progressive, and in some of the patients, the hearing loss can be stationary. So the more common causes of the fluctuating hearing loss are this otitis media with diffusion and Meniere's disease and wax in the external canal that can lead to fluctuating hearing loss. Whereas the progressive, the best example is acoustic neuroma. In acoustic neuroma, patient will get gradually progressive sensory hearing loss, and the best examples of the stationary is after trauma. So after trauma, patient can have tympanic membrane perforation, and in these cases, the hearing loss will neither decrease nor increase. Then with the help of repeat audiogram, we can know the response to the treatment, whether the patient is responding to the treatment that is given, that we can know. So it is important in surgical cases. So you can compare the audiogram of the that is taken before the surgery and the audiogram that is taken after the surgery, so that we can know. And even in cases of sudden sensory hearing loss, we can know the progress of the response to the treatment, what how much response we are getting. And then hearing aids, when we dispense the hearing aids, at that time we must know the type of hearing loss as well as the severity of the hearing loss and the particular frequency they are involved, because on the basis of this Peyton audiogram, this hearing aids right now, they are digital, they are mini computers only, so they can be uh, prepared as such as per the need of the patient. So they can be programmed as per the need of the patients, and that we can know from the proton audiogram. Then degree of handicap also, that we can calculate after taking the audiogram, because this degree of handicap that is required in cases of compensation and other benefits. Then in certain medical legal cases also, audiogram must be done, because after accidents and fights, the criminal shoe is put in the court, and on the basis of this severity of the hearing loss, judge can take the decision. Then before going for the speech audiometry, the speech reception threshold is important. That must be known. So the speech reception threshold, if we know, then we can take the audiometry, because the basic level that we will be keeping more than 10 dB, what the speech reception threshold is. Then in certain cases, we can know even the cause of the disease, cause of the hearing loss, because in otosclerosis, we will see that we can see the carotid nodes, and that is specific for the otosclerosis. and patient will have conductive hearing loss. In presbycusis, patient will have bilaterally symmetrical sensorineural hearing loss. So both sides of the audiometers, they will be more or less similar. Whereas in otosclerosis, there can be some difference between the two sides of the audiogram, but in presbycusis usually they will run very closely. Similarly, in noise-induced hearing loss, the people who are working in the industries where they get exposed to the loud noise, so gradually they can develop hearing loss. So that is early at the early stage. This noise-induced hearing loss audiogram will show us the a note that is 4000 hertz. So this 4000 hertz is very specific and indicative about this noise induced hearing loss. In ototoxicity, again the patient will have bilateral symmetrical hearing loss, and it will be steep fall, because in this ototoxicity usually the higher frequencies they are involved. So higher frequencies they will have more involvement in comparison to the lower frequency. So the graph will be little sloping. Then hearing loss can be unilateral as well as the bilateral, but in cases of bilateral, we should see whether it is symmetrical or asymmetrical. In cases of asymmetrical sensorineural hearing loss, we should rule out the acoustic neuroma, because in acoustic neuroma, patient can have asymmetrical, only one side is more and then the other side. Then the sloping, as I told you, that will indicate this ototoxicity, and that can indicate even any type of sensorineural hearing loss that can have sloping. And flat also after some time. Initially, say in cases of presbycusis, the lower frequencies they are involved less, and the higher frequencies they are involved more. So it will be a sort of sloping curve, but after some time it can become flat, because after some time the patient can have difficulty in hearing at the lower frequencies also. So as you know, the speech frequency, that is from 500, 1000, 2000. So if these speech frequencies they are affected, they are involved, then patient will have more trouble in cases in the hearing in comparison to the other frequencies. So if it is only high frequency, patient may not have any complaint, and then we should look for these notches. I think you must have enjoyed this all these indications of the pure tone audiogram. It is very commonly asked in the examination, and it is one of the competencies in our new curriculum. So you must pay attention to this indications of the indications, need and purpose of the hearing evaluation. So mainly in this we discuss the pure tone audiogram. Thank you very much.